exposures, brum, feminism, brum, Mad Max.
That darn movie show.
Hey guys, it's Clarice here. How are you all doing? So apologies, sorry, I haven't been able to upload anything for the past couple of weeks. Basically, my living situation at the moment is a mess. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle for me just to keep uploading regular content for maybe, I don't know, like the next couple of months, but hey, I'm gonna try my best. That's all that I can do. But there's one movie that I really didn't want to miss out on, and that was George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road. Brum brum! Original director, 30 years on. There's been so much hype surrounding this movie, and I am on that hype rig. It might be going through the desert at like 90 miles per hour. It's probably gonna explode, but I'm on that hype rig. I'm on board. I'm on it. This movie, guys, is fucking awesome. Now, I'm assuming most of you guys have already seen the trailer for this movie. If not, I would definitely check it out, especially if you aren't completely sold yet on the whole idea, because this is one of those rare cases where a movie actually delivers on the promise of the trailer. Insane. I know. Because I remember being so impressed by that first teaser trailer, but thinking, you know, there's no way a movie's gonna be able to keep up that level of energy the whole way through. There's no way it's gonna be consistently that weird, that out there. You know, they've just lucked out and got a really great marketing team. But I am so glad to announce to you all that I was 100% wrong. This movie is relentless. It's one of those movies that's actually exhausting to watch because you just kind of get swept up and carried away by it all. It's just like one massive hit of adrenaline. The editing is as sharp, it's as breathless as in the trailer. This movie is filled to the brim with amazing practical stunt work. It's not just what you see in the trailer, because this movie is like 90% action sequence. It's insane. It's like just one really long car chase sequence. I think the only reason they actually have any dialogue in this movie is just to give the audience a short breather, just to make sure no one dies of a freaking heart attack. And to be honest, personally, like, I actually get really bored really quickly with action sequences. If it's just people like kicking each other in the face and then things exploding in the background, like, I just switch off. But I didn't get bored for a second, which I think to me is a really huge indicator that the action sequences in this movie are being used for so much more than show. They're being used to build and to continue the narrative, because as much as this movie is trying to sort of build up this sense of chaos, I think secretly Miller's being really careful about making sure we see everything through the eyes of his characters. So we're seeing them individually react to events, portraying their goals and their motivations and how those emotions change with every new development, with every turn of events. So yeah, we'll see an explosion, but then we'll see how that explosion affects the fates of the characters, which I think is a really small thing. It's a really subtle thing, but I think it's maybe one of the reasons why this movie seems to stand apart from so much other of the usual action fare. Okay, so for example, all the guys doing the chasing, the war boys, they're all hyped up on pure testosterone. They are high off this idea that a soldier's death will grant them passage to Valhalla, the warrior's heaven, and so their energy combines with all the action on screen. Whenever something blows up, they all start screaming and cheering, and you get caught up in it and you want to start screaming too. And it just builds this atmosphere in which all these guys are getting swept up under this feeling of mass hysteria, all manufactured by this big war overlord, Immortan Joe. And because the action here is used to build character, I think you really do start to feel a connection towards these people. I mean, Nicholas Holt's character, he's playing this war boy called Nux. He hasn't really got that much dialogue in this movie, but by the end of it, I was so invested in him. And I think it's those sort of attachments to characters that are gonna make this movie feel like a real classic 10 or 15 years down the line. I think what's really weird is that one of the first things that popped into my head during this movie's opening sequence was video game design. Like, I think the way the world in this movie works and its characters really reminds me of the mechanics of game design, because obviously in game design you've got a really limited amount of time to establish narrative and characters, so a lot of effort is put into world building, so to make it feel like a 100% complete world. And I feel like you could really see that idea at work in Fury Road, especially in the opening scenes when Max is running through the Citadel, this place where he's been kept prisoner, and you could see all these little visual clues as to how the society functions. Like you see a really brief glimpse of women hooked up to milking machines, and there's also the use of graffiti, which is like a hallmark of video game design. Like seriously, like every video game has graffiti in it. But it was here in the place Immortan Joe kept his breeders, his sort of slave wives. The walls were covered in graffiti with stuff like "We are not things," and graffiti is really useful in sort of establishing a very clear message without the use of dialogue. But for me, I think the real core of this movie lies with Mad Max and with Imperator Furiosa. I'm sure you guys have like heard or read that this movie is being interpreted as very strongly feminist, and I really agree with that. I think it is so awesome on that front. I mean, this is a movie where at the end, on the hero side, we've basically got all women and like 2 guys, and that's really cool to see, just to see the gender balance tip the other way just once, just one movie. Let's have that. And also it's very clearly the storyline is sort of a battle against patriarchy, against Immortan Joe, who thinks he can own women and manipulate men with these ideas of Valhalla and soldier's death and what it means to be a real man. But I think actually my favourite aspect of this movie was Max's own narrative journey, which is basically him learning to become a feminist ally. And because he's sort of passive in this movie, I guess, because it's really all about Imperator Furiosa, who's played by Charlize Theron, who's this woman who she breaks free all of Immortan Joe's breeders, so she's really the driving force behind everything. And I mean that literally and metaphorically. I mean, her character is incredibly written. She is tough, really tough, but not in the way that Hollywood likes to portray strong women. Like, she has a sense of nobility and a sense of passion, and she's not emotionless. She cries without it being shown as a weakness, and she really bleeds. She bleeds and she scars and she bruises, and it all makes her look even more awesome. And yeah, she's just a really full character, and she is also shown as Max's equal, and I think even in some cases his superior. Like, there's one scene where Max is trying to shoot down this oncoming motorcycle, and he's shooting and he's shooting, and then finally Furiosa's just like, ugh, let me do it. And she just grabs the gun and takes him down in one shot. Pretty cool. But my point is basically that Max, throughout the movie, sort of realizes that the world is bigger than his own perspective, and that you can become a hero merely by helping others achieve greatness. And so he becomes a hero merely by helping Furiosa achieve her greatness, and he doesn't lose any sense of himself through doing that. He is still just as much of a badass. He's still just as rugged. I think Tom Hardy is such a perfect choice to play that role in that sense, because he is such a force of personality on screen. I think Bronson pretty much proved that you can literally do anything to him and he will still come out the other side looking pretty freaking cool. Part of the narrative. I thought it was pretty radical for mainstream cinema to show a hero in that light, to show him as heroic because he knows when to step aside and let other people take credit. And I guess, I don't know, it feels like a real sort of hashtag he for she kind of movie because it is really empowering to women. It encourages them to be fearless and to be loud and have their voices heard and to fight, but it's also really encouraging to men who do fight in a way that really supports women. And you know, it sort of shows that you can do that, you can be a real ally to women and still be all tough and rugged like Tom Hardy. Because who doesn't want to be Tom Hardy? So yeah, just go and see Mad Max Fury Road, okay? Like, obviously I know there's loads of other huge releases this year. There's Jurassic World, Force Awakens, but I think Mad Max has a really strong chance of being the blockbuster of 2015. I think honestly all these other guys are gonna have to step up their game if they want to compete. If you've had a chance to see Mad Max Fury Road, I would love to know what you thought. You can let me know by commenting down below, or you can tweet at me here. And also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can come and hang out with me and we can talk about movies. I'll see you guys later. Bye!